Hey everybody, welcome to the Board Game Mechanics. I am Joel, and with me, as always, is...
Hey guys, what is going on? It is Jason.
Jason, we had a board game convention.
We did, and it was glorious. It was short, but it was glorious.
It was. We got to play a few good games, though. We'll talk about that today. We'll also talk about a couple other things we played when we weren't together. To go over some news. But before all that, we've got everyone's favorite new game show sensation called Stump the Jason.
Yep, I'm ready.
So last week, if you didn't catch last week's show, we did some like greater than things. Like, are there more of this kind of game on Board Game Geek or more of this kind of game? This week, I'm doing what is the most sought after game in each category.
Ooh,
okay,
nice. Yeah,
and I have the top three. Jason, if you can get, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories on here, and I actually have like a few extras in some. If you can get 5 games on this, I'm gonna give you like mad props. I'm gonna actually subscribe to us on YouTube, Jason, if that happens. All right.
Yep, sounds good.
I'll actually follow our own channel. You know what? Like, I never remember to plug us. Like, thanks for sharing our stuff if you do. And like every time that you share something, it encourages us to keep going. So if you don't share things, shame on you. Okay, share this. Just kidding. Don't share it if you don't want to. Who am I to tell you what to do? Anyway, back to the game. And this, I mean, like, I don't know. There might be people in your life who like games like this. Maybe you should share this podcast with them. Just saying. Anyway, bluffing games. What are the top 3 most sought after bluffing games? These aren't traditionally what I would think of as bluffing games, too.
Top 3 bluffing games.
Most wanted in trade.
I don't even play these games, so I have no idea. Secret Hitler?
No. That one's too racy, Jason.
I guess.
So the first one's a really old game. The next one's a pretty old game. And the last one's a game that I don't think I like anymore, but some people really like it.
Do I know any of these games?
I own the last one. You know them. You know all 3 of them for sure. I don't know that you played. I think you own the second one maybe.
Trading. Bluffing games.
Bluffing. Number 1 isn't what I would think of as a bluffing game, but I guess there's bluffing in there. Cosmic Encounter. If I were to describe that to people, I wouldn't say, hey, it's a bluffing game. I'd say it's more like a...
negotiation.
Yeah, diplomacy negotiation game. Number 2, Shadows over Camelot.
Ooh, yeah, I want to play that one.
Yeah, oh, you haven't played that one?
No, I want to, but yeah, it's out of print and I can't find anybody that has a copy. Man,
I've owned it like twice. It's a and a lot of other people want it in trade, so good luck with that. Number 3, Dead of Winter. So,
ooh, yeah, I don't own any of these.
I've got my copy of Dead of Winter up for trade, and not only that, my name's in the rule book, like I mentioned before, so you can have I'll sign it. I'll sign my copy when I trade it to you. All right, dice games. I went ahead. Well, I think you like number 3, and I went ahead and put number 4 on because it's my favorite dice game, and I think maybe yours too. What do you think?
The number 3.
Well, what are some of the top dice games that you think people want in trade?
Bang the Dice game.
No, but that's a good guess.
Dice Forge.
No, that's a great one too. These are older, like, and they aren't necessarily just dice. There's just dice in them. I'll give you a hint. The first one is has a stinky leather cup in it.
Ooh, Stone Age.
Yep.
Nice, yeah.
And then the second one is the dice version of a card game, kinda, but it involves space exploration, so that's why you probably aren't keen on it.
Roll for the Galaxy.
Got it. And the last one looks like a person's first name pluralized, but it's not pronounced that way because it's French.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Troyes. Or Trois.
Oh, yeah, Troyes. It's Trois. It's Trois,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, Trois. And then Marco Polo's number 4. I went ahead and included that because they finally got a good game at number 4. You like Trois, and I like Roll for the Galaxy, all right? But Marco Polo's an excellent game. So, like, a tier above those, I think. Train games. This one blew my mind. The most wanted in trade train game. And I think it's pretty out of print, is why.
Russian Railroads.
Nailed it.
Yeah, I want that game real bad.
Yeah, a guy I know selling a copy of German for like $90, and I was like kind of tempted by it, but yeah, Russian Railroads, you got it. I heard it's going to get a reprint soon. Off the record, I heard that, and I don't know if it's true. I hope so. I really hope so. Railway of the Worlds 2 and Ticket to Ride Europe 3.
Ticket to Ride Europe is 3 of all the train games?
Yeah. And then it's like Ticket to Ride for the next 3 games after that.
That's crazy, man.
Card drafting, the top 4 games, only one of them is a card drafting game. I'm just going to tell you these because, like, you're never going to get them. Well, what's your guess? What's your guess on card drafting? It's not 7 Wonders.
Card drafting. Sushi Go.
No, that's a good one, though. I think most people who want that one are like, I'll just go buy a copy for $6 probably.
Yeah, Blood Rage.
You got it. That was number 3. Number 1, Terraforming Mars. Like, the drafting is a variant on that, as far as I know.
Yeah, isn't it just at the beginning, too?
Yeah. And then Concordia. Like, I don't get how that's a card drafting game.
I mean, you're taking cards out of the row, but you're buying them. It's not like you're drafting them.
It's way closer to deck building than card drafting, I think.
Yeah, that's weird.
And then Food Chain Magnate, like, kinda, but there's so much more in that game that I wouldn't call a card drafting game. All right, last one, worker placement, Jason.
Lords of Waterdeep.
No. Good guess, though.
Champions of Midgard.
That's another good one that I think we like more than other people, apparently. This one is the chunkier version of a game you like, and I like this version better, but you like the other version better. Both by Uwe.
Agricola.
Caverna is the one on the list, but yeah, Caverna with diamonds. And then Stone Age, again, on the list is worker placement, number 2.
Right, yeah.
Le Havre, good one.
Ooh, I don't really think that's worker placement. I guess I just don't take that as worker placement.
Yeah, it's like...
action selection with your disc.
Yeah, like it's... Yeah, it's almost like goods drafting or something almost.
Yeah.
A Feast Rodin, and then Robinson Crusoe made the list as a worker placement game, and I guess Crusoe. It kind of is, but like it's more, I think, co-op. If I describe that, I'd say it's a co-op. And then Zulkin is number 5. So
Zulkin's 6. A good one. That's a good one.
So I think they finally got a game that you and I both would agree is a good game at 6. So that was this week's version of Stump Jason. I think you got a few with some hints. You did pretty okay. That's a hard game.
It was a little tough this week.
It's a hard game. Next week, it's going to be which designer looks the hottest on the beach?
Stefan Feld, duh.
We're back to being creepy, huh? I don't know, man. I had a really funny joke there, but I'm not going to say it. Anyway, protective order's just expiring, man. I'm not going to renew that.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
All right. Well, hey, Jason, let's get to news.
All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about in news is the most exciting thing that's happened to me in gaming in quite some time, and that is a reprint of one of my Grail games, Pret-A-Porter. So this is the 3rd edition with art from Kwanchai Moria, or however you say his name. It's on Kickstarter now, selling for $60, has 10 days left, and I'm just so jazzed and pumped up for this game. I watched Rado play it, I watched Man vs. Meeple, I've watched all the videos already today, and I need this game. The art's amazing, they stuck with the fashion theme, but Rado did say he consulted with Ignacy on how to turn it into the video game theme, on what he could change and like to make it fit the theming. So that is interesting that they were really close to going down that route. But yes, if you want Pret-A-Porter, now's your chance. Go get it. I
kind of hope they still do. Like, I think, why not, you know?
Yeah, they can just do another theming. I don't think it'll be bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know it seems like misogynistic or sexist or something that I'm like, oh, I don't want to play a fashion game. But fashion doesn't appeal to me at all. But like running a video game industry is super appealing to me. So I don't know. I think they could get a whole other group of people to play this if they did that. So I don't know. Just my thought.
Yeah, maybe they will. Who knows? And they have to change the name because I guess Pret-A-Porter means off or made to fit or made to wear or something. Yeah. So it wouldn't make sense if it's a video game theme.
Yeah. Unless it was like virtual reality headsets that were like, you know, calibrated to someone's head. I don't know.
That's true.
No, it doesn't work at all.
No. But yeah, that's cool. I'm pumped about that. So hopefully I might back this one. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, but we'll see. The second game I wanted to talk about is when I was just browsing because I was so jazzed up by Pret-A-Porter that I didn't really do a bunch of work. And it's called 18 Holes. And it's by a company called SeaBrook Studios. It's going for $41, and it has 15 days left. And what this game looks like to me is it's a game where players are working together to build this 18-hole golf course by playing out tiles. So kind of like Carcassonne style. That's kind of how I interpreted it, but they're hexes instead of squares. And then each player is going to be playing cards to try to be the first person to get their ball into each of the holes, because the first person that gets there scores 5 points, second person scores 3. The trick here is you can get into the bunker, you can get into the water hazard, you can hit your ball out of bounds, and then you're going to basically lose a stroke and be farther behind everyone else. So the only reason I put it on here because I thought the theme was cool. There aren't a bunch of games about playing golf, so people might dig that. So if you're into that, 15 days left, go check it out.
My dad has a board game at his house, and I remember looking at it a bunch as a kid and never played it because I don't think it's probably very good. But it's called Rainy Day Golf, and it's like kind of the same idea, I think. So
that's cool.
I would look at that, and then I'd say, Milbourne looks cooler. I'm going to play it.
Yeah, Milbourne is actually probably cooler.
Yeah, I almost bought a thrift store copy, but I was like, this won't hold up like it was in my mind. It's all like about who gets those. Whoever, I remember playing as a kid, and I'd cheat. Like I'd be like, I've got unpuncturable tires. I've got unlimited gas. You can't do anything bad to me. I'm going to win. Like by just stacking the deck. So...
Yeah, it's kind of a take that game, so I don't play it a ton, but it's not bad.
Yeah. The one with the old vintage, like avocado green card tray is the one I remember, and it gives me those nostalgia feels. That one's not on Kickstarter, just so you know. You have to find it at thrift shops.
I think we actually have that version.
Hey, you know what's cool? When this comes out, this silent auction will be over by now, so I don't have to worry about it. I put in bids for $10 and $11 respectively. The $10 version was for the Trump board game. For like an old first edition of Sorry, a copy of Aggravation, and then like another huge board game that's like super old.
That's awesome.
And then the $11 bid was for that like old electric vibrating football. So like the you plug it in and the magnetic guys vibrate down the field, and then I also had like a air hockey or a hockey game version of it at the local thrift shop. So I'm hoping I won those because they both look pretty awesome. And I played the Trump game a ton when I was a kid. It's a real dumb game. Like I don't remember a whole lot about it. I just remember you like would buy properties kind of, but the properties were like already had money in them because like you had to pay rent to them before you bought them kind of thing. And you could like crack them open at some point, or like I don't remember how it worked exactly, but like there's little like sarcophagus looking things that you slide money in, and the money just stacks up in there, and then you get it out. I don't know how it works.
That's awesome.
I think the idea is that you're playing as Donald Trump's dad for the first few rounds, and you put money into trust funds for him, and then you just go claim the trust funds. Something like that.
It could be, yeah. That game, don't know. Actually, that game, a lot of people are wanting that. I've been seeing it on the group. Either people are getting rid of it or people are wanting it. I don't know why. Maybe they want to burn it, or just because it's, it's a game after a president. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
it's just kind of novel.
Yeah, it would be cool if you won that. I would give it a go once.
I actually don't hate Donald Trump. Like, I think I don't know. I think it's interesting that there's a president who was such a pop culture person and then he became president. Like Ronald Reagan kind of was that, but not near as much, And so I don't know. It is kind of interesting he's the president, but then like, I don't know, man. I think we get so polarizing with our opinions in our society. You can't say this guy does okay at this and doesn't do very well at this. And I feel like that's what sanity is, that you can say, hey, I don't mind that he did this, but it's pretty weird he did this. You know what I mean? So like, that's kind of where I'm at with him. He's not the devil. I don't know. I mean, like, and people don't like hearing that. So I guess when we get a lot of like lost followers, it's because that hot take that I said, Donald Trump's not the devil and that he does some things good and some things bad. Like it's almost like a controversial stance to say that you can have mixed emotions about something anymore. I don't know. It's weird. So anyway, hopefully I get that board game. We'll give it a run. It'll be cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to play, just to play a terrible game, if nothing else. Those are kind of fun sometimes.
Like this is newsworthy because we don't back a ton of Kickstarters. I mean, like I've done a few over this year, but I did actually back one on the Underground. I went ahead and backed it. It looks pretty bad art-wise. I don't like the art in it this time around. Like I wish it had the old art, but I mean, it's such a good price point that I was like, yeah, this isn't bad. I really like it. And actually their model, I looked at their page and read it. It's actually really cool. They're like, we don't have any stretch goals. We don't have anything other than just upfront pricing and honesty. Like, this is what the game's going to have in it. If we can get this many, it's going to be this much. And like, we kept our prices down by not including crazy stretch goals and stuff. And I really like that actually. So
that is
even
cool.
If the game wasn't awesome, I'd probably back that idea that they're just being like transparent. When I know that there's certain games where they're like, we already have the prototype done. It has all these like wooden extra upgraded bits and deluxe stuff that we know we forecast it's going to hit this certain price mark. You know what I mean? Like, it just makes excitement, and it's manufactured. Like, I'm positive that's the case with a lot of these Kickstarters. So the transparency I really liked.
Yeah, I agree. That is really neat.
Yep. Well, that's, I guess, it for news, huh?
All right, so you scolded me last week for not talking about this game, but talking about Gem Hens. So I wanted to set the record straight.
Okay, so Gem Hens, I'm going to give you a little bit of credit for it. Like, I got to see the copy of the game. It's really well produced. It doesn't look terrible. It looks like it's probably pretty fun, actually.
It is.
So anyway, yeah, but go ahead and talk about something better than Gem Hens.
So the game I'm going to talk about this week first is Crusaders. So this is from TMG, I believe. Yeah, we had the non-deluxified version, which was still amazing production.
Yeah.
Awesome bits, awesome components. It was just off the hook. So what this game is you have this player board, which is a rondel, and you're doing some Mancala stuff, kind of like Trajan. But what this one does that Trajan doesn't do is two things. You take your action before you pick up the pieces and move them, not after. And you can upgrade the tiles where each tile can be upgraded to a backside where you can take 2 actions on one tile instead of 1. So, and what you're doing with this rondel is you're trying to get these knights and, well, I guess the Crusaders that you have going across the country to take out I'm not going to say bad guys because they're just people who the Crusaders killed, but to take out these other tribes and put your building there. You're going to build churches, farms, bank, and I can't remember what the other building is, and you're just trying to score the most points at the end of the game. The game ends when this pool of points is gone. I think there's like a certain amount of points based on the number of players, so once all those points are gone, the game's over. It's super fun, and I think I like this better than Trajan just because, one, it looks way better, when I never thought I would say that, but it looks better.
And it's fun, too.
Yeah, and it's fun. And it's easier to explain than Trajan is. Everything's pretty straightforward. Trajan has some tricky rules. So if you want a cool Mancala-style game with some interesting ideas, check out Crusaders.
I mean, like, I think this is where I'm at. This is going to come up here, spoiler, in like maybe 10 minutes we're going to talk about this also. I'm to the point with Feld where I appreciate him as a designer, and his games are all really good. They're excellent games. Like, I can't say they're not excellent games because they are. Like, he is just a masterful designer. He knows how to make a puzzle that is super interesting to like try and solve. And certain kinds of brains just really enjoy that and feel really gratified by it and love it. And Trajan is hugely that way, like, because there's just so many different kind of weird mechanics in there. And another Feld game that we played that's coming up, I am now to the point where I'll say it's a good game. Is it for me? But it's a good game. And like, I would say that. I think Crusaders is more my kind of game too. Like, Crusaders is my kind of game more than Trajan. Like, I would definitely play Crusaders over Trajan, I think. Just because, I don't know, it just is packaged a little bit lighter. And like you said, it's easier to explain. And I don't know, it just feels like the theme's a little more interesting to me, at least, you know? So, yeah.
Right. The thing that got me about this game is it looks like it's going to be a super complicated, heavy game, but it's really just like it's probably a light to medium game. Like, really, and that's not just me talking. All the other people I was playing with said the same thing. So it's not a super brain burner. So yeah, it's nice to play those occasionally.
I mean, TMG makes a nice way to game. Like, they're always like a little bit beyond gateway, but not hard to figure out. And like, there's some thought in them. And actually, I think one of the heavier TMGs we played, and we'll talk about here in a minute, but like, I don't know, even what's the one I'm thinking of? The purple box, worker placement.
I have no idea.
Starts with a B.
A V?
B, as in boy. Someone's yelling it at the radio right now, and I just don't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
you play as like dwarves and elves, and you're making a fantasy city.
Belfort.
Yeah, that one like is just a pretty light worker placement game, really. I mean, so with some kind of interesting variable like fraternities or whatever you can play with, so, or guilds, or I don't know what they are. But yeah, no, that's cool. I like TMG. I'm a big fan of theirs. Yeah, really enjoy them. So, what I played this week, Jason. I'm trying to think if I played anything by TMG. I did, but we're going to talk about it in a little bit. I want to talk about Airline's Europe. I love this game, and I've talked about it a few times before, but this is one that I brought out with a guy who's like a kind of like a church planner or something in the community, and he's played Ticket to Ride quite a bit, and he's starting to get into gaming. And it's one of those next step games, and it really just is. And I played this with my brother, who's not really a gamer at all, my wife, and then him. And everybody around the table had a great time. It was a really competitive game. I ended up losing by like 2 points, and I thought I was just slaughtering everybody. So, I mean, you always feel like you're doing really well in it. It's a really good game. Basically, the whole game is this. On your turn, you're going to do one of like 4 things. One of them is invest into airlines. So you put more routes on the board for airlines. And when you do that, you're going to take some shares of stocks. You can cash your stocks in from your hand into the table and get money for those stocks based on either having a set and getting 2 million per each number in the set, or putting 2 mismatched ones down and getting just 4 million total. Or you can exchange your shares for this other like airline that's not really on the board, but it's worth a ton of points. It's like a hypothetical airline kind of. And if you ignore it, you're going to lose. But if you pay too much attention to it, you're going to lose as well. And then the final thing you can do is if you really get into trouble, you can just take like a bailout from the government, like for $8 million. That's all you do. On your 4 turns, you do that. And it's just really interesting because you are doing math to say, like, do I have a majority on this and it can't be broken based on the shares that are visible? And if they are, then you're like, okay, well, then I can burn these for that other airline. I mean, just a number of different things can happen in the game. And everything's a little bit variable. It really feels like an Alan Moon game because you're picking one thing to do on your turn, and they all like work together to make you at a better standing. And it doesn't feel like you're running an airline necessarily. It feels like Ticket to Ride meets like Acquire kind of. But it's a really good game, excellent game, honestly. And it's an evergreen, always in my top 20 for sure games. Every time I play it, I'm like, man, that is a good game, and I like it more than I remember. So Airlines Europe, if you get a chance to play it, I suggest it. It's not heavy at all. It's a pretty light game, but it's just really well done, and nobody talks about it. Nobody, you don't see it. I mean, like, you don't. It's a better game than Ticket to Ride, in my opinion, and I think for all the same reasons that Ticket to Ride is good. So, like, for the fact that we never hear about it, and it is better than Ticket to Ride, tells me that Rio Grande put that one out and Days of Wonder put the other one out, is basically what it comes down to.
Yeah,
so,
true.
Yeah. So that's my take on it. So I know this is one you want to try at some point. We need to play it because it's pretty quick too. Like, you and I could play 2 players in 20 minutes. I mean, like, because we're that kind of players. So, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I think I just always get turned off by this. 1, because it's Alan Moon. I'm not a huge fan of him. And 2, I just feel like it's like a Ticket to Ride knockoff. So I don't know. It just kind of steers me away from it. But yeah, I'll play it sometime, and then I'll probably be proven wrong. And
it's actually older than Ticket to Ride. Because it actually started as Union Pacific, which is way before Ticket to Ride. And actually, Union Pacific is better than Airlines Europe too. But it's like a little, not quite as straightforward. So I think you'd like it better, to be honest. But yeah. So anyway, Airlines Europe.
Cool. So the next game I want to talk about is an old game, but I played the newest reprint from Cosmos, and it's from Reiner Knizia, of which I don't play a lot of his games, but I have a couple. And it's called Lost Cities.
Yeah.
This is a 2-player game only. And the new Cosmos version, there's a 5-color board and a 6-color board. And I don't know what the difference is other than one adds another color. It doesn't do anything else special. But what this game is you're trying to play cards on your side of the board to have the most of a certain color, more of a certain color than your opponent, and you're going to try to wager to see if you think you can get more to double, triple, quadruple your score. You can play a card, then you draw a card, or you can discard a card and draw a card. The game ends when the deck is out. It's really straightforward, super easy to play. The hardest part of the whole game is the scoring, because Dr. Knizia loves math, and this game has a lot of math. So if you want an interesting 2-player game and you've never played this, I think it's 20 years old. So if you haven't played it in the last 20 years, go check it out.
Yeah, it's a good game. And it's one that you like, if you have a non-gamer spouse, you'll play with this game with them. I mean, like, it's that kind of game. This is the one I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I played it. This is the one where you always have to go up in numbers, right? Is that how it works? Yeah,
once you play like a 3, you can't play the 2 after that, yeah.
Right. So there's another game that's kind of like this one that I really like. And I think that's the reason why I got rid of my copy of Lost Cities. It's a really silly little game that you can't, I don't know if I've never seen it around. It's called The Terrible Creatures of Dr. Gloom. And it's kind of the same idea. Like, you have like the different colors and you're putting cards onto them. But the thing that's a twist on it is there's like 3 cards that are like switch the direction cards. And I think you're playing on a common pool, and it's like you want to run out of cards. So like, it's the same mechanic of like, you have to get a card that fits in one of those piles. But then like, you can drop this like reverse the direction thing on it, and it makes it go like down instead of up. So like, it's kind of cool because if somebody's like like building this green pile up, and they have them up to like 9, and they have the 10, 11, and 12. Then you drop that reverse card on it, then they're screwed. They can't play it until they get a reverse card back. So that's kind of cool. And it's really similar, but Lost Cities is a really good game too. And the edition I played was like the older version, and the art in it all kind of matched up and made these like panoramic views and stuff, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that's a neat little game.
Yeah, there's not really any art in this game outside of the box cover. Everything else is just, I think all the cards are the same, and they hired Vincent Dutrait to do the art, and there's really no art anywhere, which I found kind of interesting, but whatever.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought so too. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, cool. Jason, the last game that I played, or not the last game, but the other one I want to talk about is called Boss Monster. And this one's really pretty fun. It's a deck builder. It's like kind of like, to give you a frame of reference on it. And that was my phone. Someone said hi to me. Let's see who's so important they interrupted me playing Boss Monster. Actually, I'm just going to turn that down. So at any rate, Boss Monster is basically like Pixel Lincoln. Like, I know you played that game because I traded you my copy.
Yep.
Actually, I sold it to you for $5, and I felt so relieved to get rid of it for $5. I think
like
you're a little
it.
mad at me.
I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just silly. It's like reverse Pixel Lincoln. So like in Pixel Lincoln, you're trying to get your guy to like side scroll a ton and like get past the stuff. In Boss Monster, you're trying to make like this alluring dungeon, but it's actually going to kill guys inside of it. So you're trying to like get certain things that are going to get these heroes to want to go to your dungeon, but then have things that are going to create hit points of damage to them so that you can, get the points from them basically. So you're playing as the dungeon kind of, or as the boss monster really. And you're setting up a dungeon to try and get heroes to come see you and wipe them out. So it's kind of a cool premise. It's got the same cool 8-bit art. There's some expansions for it. It's actually really affordable too. You can get the base game on Amazon for I think about $12, $13, something like that. So pretty fun little game. It's like kind of a deck builder, but more like I'm building a level or building a dungeon kind of thing in front of me, but you're getting cards to do that. So in like kind of a deck building way. So pretty neat. Really like it. So that is Boss Monster.
Yeah, I played this a long time ago. I mean, it's probably been, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago if it's been out that long. So maybe
I think it has.
Yeah, so I think when this game first came out, Jim got it and he brought it over, and I was like, oh, let's play this game and see what it's about. So I don't even remember what it was. I remember that I liked it, but I don't remember much outside of that.
Yeah, it's definitely a light game. I mean, a real light game, filler kind of game. But it's pretty good for that. So, Boss Monster.
Nice. I think we're done with this.
From Brotherwise Games. It's kind of cool that Brothers made this too, I think. Chris and Johnny O'Neill.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. I didn't realize they were actually brothers.
Yeah, it's cool. And then they have some other games too, like Call to Adventure is Brotherwise now too. So they're kind of a cool little company. And Unearth, which is a game that I think both of us enjoy. So...
So last weekend we had, I don't know, I'm going to say our 6th BGM Con. I don't know. I don't ever write down the numbers, but
it was like BGM Con Express. Like it was like kind of figured out last minute, and then like we just kind of threw it together and just did it. So It was pretty fun though.
Yeah, we got together. It was me, you, and Katie, my buddy Brandon, and his wife Josie, and his daughter Lauren. That's all that were there. So 6 of us that were playing game. Oh, your dad was there too, but he didn't come out of the room.
Yeah, he was a recluse. Well, and like, it was definitely thrown together, and like it was a bad time of year, so like we didn't have as many people there sometimes, but I think it was a good group. Like we got a lot of stuff played.
Yeah, I agree. So we started at about 10:30ish, and we ended at 5:30 because you had to leave because your wife wasn't feeling good.
Yep.
So we got 4 games in, and we played 4, and then Katie and another table played 1 that we didn't play, which I'll mention when we get down into that. So let's just go ahead and start with the first game that we played when me and Katie got there, and that is Museum. What do you think about that?
Like it a lot, actually. I think this is one, like I buy games more times than not based on the idea that I think it's something that is accessible to like people that I know in real life as friends. You know what I mean? So like people that I just am friends with or my wife, like I think they could play it and enjoy it, and it wouldn't be too much for them, or it might give them the bug to want to play games more. And this one fits that for sure. It's got really great art on it, and it's pretty easy to figure out. So like you have an objective card that you can work towards if you don't know what else to do. And I think really doing your objective card is probably the way to go in this game, to be honest. It's just easy. Like you're just like, it diagrams out exactly what you're supposed to do. And I think I do better at it this time because I figured out it's more about what you don't draft than what you do draft sometimes. So like you want to avoid getting too many different symbols or too many different regions or things like that, because you want your sets to all flow together and get those big point bonuses. So there's enough ways to score points too that I think it's kind of neat. I guess for people who aren't familiar with the game, basically there's like a set. It's almost like card drafting. There's a bunch of cards out, and then we take turns picking cards out of these galleries basically. And then it's almost like an auction kind of, in that like I pick a card and then everyone has an opportunity to take a card if they're going to give me a little bit of a surcharge. Like it's like you give me an extra victory point if you take a card on my turn. And so a lot of times that happens because people just want to get cards, you know? So really neat game though.
Yeah, essentially, like this is, I'd probably say this is a family plus game. It's not hard at all, except for the scoring, which is a little tricky. But all this game really is a set collection game. You're doing a little bit of drafting and some set collection, and that's pretty much the majority of the game. Yep. There's an event card that shows up at the beginning, and that's it. It took us maybe an hour, if that. Yep. Because the end game is really cool, where first person that hits 50 triggers the end, and that's it. So doesn't outstay its welcome for sure.
Right, and that scoring, like it's kind of like Hansa Teutonica is the same way. The first person to get 20 points in the game, like kind of triggers the end. It's kind of the same idea. So it's like you can't just dilly-dally and let someone else just take off, because they'll end the game and you won't be done with what you want to do. So it makes you kind of hustle a little bit too, which is a smart mechanic too. I really like it though. It's a good game.
Yeah, I agree. That was my third time playing, and I think it actually gets better every time you play it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it again, honestly. And it's reasonably priced. It's like $40 to $50. Not too bad right now. So nope. I really enjoy it.
All right, so after our museum, sorry, a little spoiler there. After museum, Brandon and Josie and his wife showed up, and me, you, and Brandon played Merlin, because you'd never played it, and Katie and Josie and Lauren played Castles of Mad King Ludwig at another table. So what did you think of Merlin? I have down in the notes that you really loved it. So if you would like to correct the record, feel free.
Okay, so here's what my experience was with the game. There's a bunch of ways to get points. Who'd have thought with a Feld that you could do that?
Right.
And like, so one of my strategies when I play board games is try and do things that other people aren't, because sometimes they'll get busy fighting each other for those points and you can get easy points other places. And there's these objective cards that you can get like a few points, 3, 4 points, or 1, 2, or 3 points, I guess, on these little cards by having certain things in your castle. And so like the things that you need to have in your castle are things that you could burn or keep them in your castle and get these cards cranked out. And the first few I got were like for flags or having a certain number of cubes. And I was like, man, if I can just get enough cubes, like a set of all the cube colors and a set of all the flag colors, then I could just do a card every round. And if I can get a card every round, there's like 24 turns in the game. If I can do that, 3 points every time, I could get 70 points by doing that. And that's a good score in that game. And then even if I do that, I'm still going to get some other points other places too. So that was my theory on it, because I got really easy cards that were giving me 3 points right off the bat. And then the cards got really hard. And you guys got the little sideboard with the real estate to score like tons of points for you guys too. Like I think you probably got 40 points off that sideboard that I just ignored. And you can't do that because it gives you little like die re-rolling things and some other stuff that you can't ignore it. And I totally ignored it. So like my strategy was to just kind of ignore the thing that everyone else is doing and just kind of do my own thing. And it kind of burnt me. And so I lost by a ton. I lost by seriously like 30 or 40 points, I think. So I think just the first time you play a game, you're learning it regardless. So I definitely learned the game, but I wasn't competitive. And so when you're not competitive in a game, you don't love it as much, for sure. But this is like, I'm going to say again, of a Feld game, when I see it and know it's good, I can say it's good and feel like it's good and stand by that. And this game's good. It's a really good game. Like I absolutely think it's a good game. And if you like Feld, get this game, because it's a really good game, especially for a Feld. And it's zany for a Feld because you've got to deal with dice mitigation. So I like it overall as a game. I I can see that as a game. It's like, probably an 8 or 9 just for like if it's a great game. As far as if it's for me, it's like a 7. I definitely will play it again. And I think if I had to play a Feld, this would be in the short list of games that I'd like to play.
Yeah, this is my favorite Feld, and I really enjoy it because that dice manipulation is a game in itself because you're really limited to what you can do. So if you can't manipulate your dice, sometimes you're going to be taking actions that just don't help you at all. So,
right.
Yeah, I enjoy it. And every time you play it, you do get better at it. And I tried to tell you, don't forget to do the buildings. Don't neglect the buildings. But
yeah. Well, it was too late for me to get in by the time I was like realizing it. And I got in a little bit just for the apples and stuff, but I don't think I scored a single point off the buildings. So, and I'm not sure if people could, I don't know if you could win off not doing the buildings. So, I'd be interested to play it with adding Arthur to it. That'd be cool too. But like, I'll play it again for sure. I absolutely will play it again. And actually, the way how the dice mitigation stuff works in it, it's kind of cool. It's kind of you got to make the best of what you're given. And like life does that to you a lot. You know what I mean? So it's like a good skill that you can figure out, So just do the best with what you got, So yeah.
Yep, I agree. So the next game we played, I believe we got Josie in. Yeah, so Josie, Katie, Josie, and Lauren wrapped up their game. Katie took our youngest back to where we were staying because she wanted to play with the other little kids. And we played Scoville. It was me, you, Brandon, and Josie. And I'd never played this game. You talk about it a lot. So I wanted to try it, and I really enjoyed it. It's a really good game. Yeah,
it's been a while since I played it, but I remember really liking it. And this is probably the 5th time I've played it. I like it a lot, actually. I don't think I won. I think I got beat by a couple points. This was really close. I think we all scored in the 60s. Maybe someone scored 70 or 71, but I think it was really tight. Like I think from top player to bottom player was within inside of like 8 points. So it's just always set up that way that it's going to be fairly close. Actually, it isn't set up that way. Like I think we all just did fairly well. But just a cool game. Basically, it's worker placement kind of along a path where you're trying to maximize your little route. And then it's as much an auction game as anything. That auction's pretty important. And sometimes you want to blow it and be last place so that you can do certain things in reverse player order first. So, and then just kind of understanding the value of certain peppers that don't happen at certain times in the game. So like the primary color peppers are really rare at the end of the game because they aren't hybrids. Like you can't get them from worker placement. So, just a cool game. It's thinky, man. It's always thinkier than I think. And it looks deceptively like simple. Like it looks like a cute little family game and it's thinkier than you think. So Scoville is a cool game. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, after I got home, I put it on my BGG trade list because I'd like to pick up a copy, but we'll see how that goes.
I think you'll find a copy. I don't know. It's maybe a little rare, but I don't know. I don't think there's like a grail or anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Someday.
There was an expansion for it that they were either going to make or they did. I think they did actually make the expansion for it, and I don't have it. And I think it's like you're making salsa or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's called Lab something.
Yeah, Labs. I think is what it's called. And I don't have it. I'm not sure what it adds to it. The other TMG game that I really like, and I think I'm the only person who talks about it, is Kings of Air and Steam, and that's the one that didn't fund. The expansion didn't fund for it. It's a cool pick up and deliver game. It's the equivalent of the TMG's version of a pick up and deliver, just kind of a little bit, like wacky, So cool.
Yeah, that's cool. So then after that game, we played our last game, which was just back to me, you, and Brandon. And it is from What's Your Game, which is one reason why I really wanted to play it. And it is called Railroad Revolution.
Yeah.
So this is probably one of the lighter What's Your Game games. I think Signori might be a little lighter, but it's comparable. So this is a game where you're trying to build networks to build train stations at certain cities to score points. You're trying to build some buildings on Western Union to score points. There's some point tracks on the side that make each of those buildings worth more points. And it's just a fun game. You're just taking actions with different colored dudes, doing normal What's Your Game stuff. You place a dude, you can do multiple actions. It's awesome. So I really like it. Also on my trade list now.
Yeah, it's a good game. This is actually only the second time I played it, and the improvement I made from first play to second play was pretty huge. Like I think I scored maybe 80 points more the second time I played than the first. And it was all based on one thing. And I don't know how I was able to do it so well. I think it was just kind of some luck, honestly, is that I was able to weed out those white workers that are like not very powerful real quick and get some of those better colored workers real quick. So by being able to get rid of all the, like, weed out the white, not very good cards, I was able to do pretty well in that game. And that's my strategy, I think, from now on, is that, whenever you use a colored worker like that, you just get something so much more powerful than with those white. And it doesn't feel like you're getting, it's like almost like you're getting double turn almost when you use those white or the colored workers. So, yeah, it's a cool game. And it's like, I don't know, it just feels like your standard well done medium to medium heavy Euro. So, yeah, I like it quite a bit. It's going to stay in my collection for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, this is one of the few What's Your Game games I don't have. I think it might actually be the only one that I don't have.
Yeah, no, you're kind of a collector.
Yeah, I don't have Nippon and Madeira, but those are like impossible to find. So outside of those two, this is the only other one that I don't have, and I really want to get it.
Those should be easier, though, soon, I think, right? Because Madeira got a reprint, I think.
Yeah, Madeira did, but not Nippon. Or no, it was Nippon, not Madeira.
Yeah, well, I thought Madeira was on Kickstarter last year or something, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe I might be making that up.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it got a reprint, too. But, yeah, I mean, both those games look awesome. Madeira looks really good to me. So, you kind of turned me on to those guys, and I really like them quite a bit.
Yeah, so that was the last game we played. Then we just hung around and talked for a few minutes, and then we parted ways. So that was BGMCon 6789. I can't remember the number.
So some closing comments on that. The family that came over, your friends from Ohio, they're really cool people. I really enjoyed them. So Brandon and Josie just seemed like really nice people, and then they brought their daughter too. And like I joked at one point about a dowry because like their daughter's my son's age, but she's a really nice kid. So like that says a lot too, that they're good parents and they have a good kid. And like most 15-year-old kids are like kind of tough to hang around and are like on some level a little bit obnoxious, but you kind of have grace for that because like who wasn't obnoxious at 15? I know I was, but she was actually kind of pleasant to be around and a kind of cool kid. And so the whole family just really nice. I really enjoyed playing with Brandon. I got to play with him more than anybody else in that family, and he's just a really good guy. When he talks, he sounds just like my Uncle Marty, which is really weird to me, but like it's cool. I like my Uncle Marty, so Uncle Marty / Brandon, I'm happy to play games with you again.
Yeah, he's probably the person that I play games with the most. Probably even more, well, maybe not more than Katie, but as much, because sometimes Katie's doing other stuff and he'll come over and we'll just play games. So, yeah, he definitely will put up with some of the stinkers that I have to play for videos or whatever. So, he's pretty cool.
No, he seems like a really cool guy. Wish I lived closer to you guys, or we had the Hyperloop finished.
Yeah, someday. We'll get Trump on it.
Come on, Elon. What did we not play that you would have liked to play?
I didn't bring a ton, but I would have liked to play Imaginarium, just because I think that game's weird, and everyone should play it because it's weird. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I brought that I would have liked to have played too.
Hansa Teutonica.
Hansa would have been good. Yeah. Hansa probably was the one game that stayed in the box that I wish that we would have played, because it's a good game for sure. Or London, second edition London. I love that game, man. So
London is good, man. That's my favorite Marty Wallace game so far.
You're about the only person I know that'll play it with me. So just because, I mean, like, even I have the second Pretty edition, and I'm like, hey, you guys want to play this? And they're like, that looks like a history book. Why would I want to play it?
Yeah, the second edition looks super nice. I can't believe people don't want to play it.
Yeah, first edition looks like what cereal box did you get those off of? Kinda.
The word you're looking for is it looks awesome.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yes.
There's a guy local here who's selling a bunch of games on one of the marketplaces, and he's trying to sell his copy of Brass, which is the first edition, and he's trying to get $10 out of it. And I was like, oh man, I should just for $10 I can have the old version here. I've got the new one, but I mean, just having the old one, just kind of for those nostalgia feels of that old design tree frog look. It's kind of cool. It's grown on me a little bit. It just reminds me of what games were when I first started playing them, you know? So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they don't look great. The Roxy version is far superior. I'll give it that. But I don't know. There's just something about the simplicity of the old ugly games that I like. Yep.
Well, and then like dollar for dollar, it's hard to argue with like an old version of Brass you can get for $10 or the new one $70. You know, I mean, like, is it really 7 times more game to get the new art? You know, so
that's true.
I'm with you on the frugal gamer thing that you got going on.
Yeah, gotta do what you gotta do to play the most games.
Oh, I'm laying the gauntlet down. This is going to stay in the show, too. So if you listen this far, I'm challenging Jason to come up with a new segment, occasional segment on the show. I'm challenging you to have a segment next week, Jason, called Jason's Frugal Gamer, where you go look at the BGG market and see what game is critically underpriced, like a great value. And I'm sure you could think of 3 off the top of your head right now.
Yeah, probably.
You got to give us one next week.
All right, I will.
I know what you're going to say already, too. It comes in a purplish box, and it's from What's Your Game?
Yep, that would be correct.
All right. Well, for more of that, next week, tune in again. Anyway, I guess I've been Joel, and keep gaming.
And I'm Jason. Keep gaming.